Good morning, everybody. It is Loafy, and I got up real early today and had my breakfast a while ago. Might be procrastinating a little bit, but while we procrastinate, let's go ahead and do another review for the Ramen Abyss. This one is going to be kind of a mainstay, kind of a fan favorite, because I see this bad boy everywhere. And we're going to have some of the Neoguri spicy seafood udon type nongshim noodles. This one's pretty popular. You can see it just about anywhere. Like when ramens were like first branching out into mainstream grocery stores, that kind of thing, you would see a couple of different brands show up. And this was definitely one of them. The Neoguri is just like very prolific. It's everywhere, especially if you're like at an Asian grocer. Like there probably isn't one that doesn't have one, you know, a facing of this in their store somewhere. I've had it dozens of times. Like this is here for the sake of, you know, putting it out there for everybody to see what I think of it. Because I know exactly what I'm coming to the table for here. We'll give you our reviews as we're hovering over the steaming bowl. Like, who knows? Maybe something has changed in the meantime. Maybe either my palate has developed, or perhaps the ingredients might have changed, you know? It's like, hey, how do they always keep these things the same price? You know, they sort of add and remove all kinds of things from your packet. That's kind of my conspiracy theory behind Marushan ramen. It's like at one point, like way long ago, I remember those things being delectable. I remember the noodles being amazing, and the broth to them was, it's so-so. You have kind of a, you know, Anglican, Caucasian audience, and a lot of them are just used to the chicken bouillon cubes, you know, and that's kind of what that flavor was, you know. Maybe it wasn't something terribly flattering to go with those noodles, but it was something that was familiar, and you could get people into it. But over an elapsed period of time, I did notice like the quality of things just going all out of whack, you know. And when I was a kid, they were 10 cents a pack, you know, when the dollar was completely different. And now, lo and behold, when shit's like bad and the economy's going down the toilet, still like 10 for a dollar, you know, like 10 cents. Like, how could they possibly have the same product? Well, I don't think they do. I think they made a lot of exceptions, and you can tell in the flavor and in everything. Just a bad turn of events for that company, and namely for people eating it. There has to be ebb and flow when it comes to what they can put in here, determining, you know, how the economy is doing, and how much effort they can put into it and still get a return on their product. So, goddamn, rant over. Okay, let's get to the actual ramen itself. So first of all, this packaging, it appeals to me a lot. Like, we already know I have an obsession with red, but we do have really nice presentation of the product. You know, you can see the noodles in there. They aren't completely loaded down by everything else. Like, you can see the broth, everything is kind of on the up and up. I think you do get little bits of mushroom in there. You definitely get pieces of seaweed. These little red pepper things, you know. You don't get them in this illustrious serving method, but you do get little tiny chunks of them in the dried packet, and those are great. I'm really happy with that. Oh, I wonder if there's even any kamaboko in there, like little pieces of fish cake. That would be nice too. There's several of my favorite ramens actually have those, and I don't know why I'm so attracted to them. Like, I could go out and get the real fish cake and stuff, but the ones that come with the little pieces inside that are just, oh, ever so perfectly measured out. Oh, I love that shit. Okay. But, love the package. You have all of your basically English instructions on the back. This is only intended for one audience here. Nongshim is a huge company, so I'm assuming they can do whatever they like when it comes to packaging for individual areas. This is like, hey, this is your audience, baby, and this is your language, so you can understand it all. The only kanji that you get is on the front. And I don't know if that's a wasted opportunity. I mean, it looks like the back is really full. Like, this real estate is all used up. But really big fan of the package. I guess we like arbitrarily give this one a 2 out of 2. Like, it already serves every kind of wish I would want out of a package, and it also appeals to me in the color. Like, this ramen, even though it's not my favorite, I have gone back to it several times and been like, oh, this one looks pretty, I guess I'll get that one, because I don't remember things too well. So this has gotten my money a lot of times because of the packaging, so I have to give it a 2 out of 2. If for nothing else, then it just appeals to me, and it hits, like, all the marks. So, sodium. I don't know if maybe the packaging should get demerits for doing this thing that's about to happen. You know I don't like the fudging on servings per container. Is there somebody who's gonna cook this up and not eat the whole thing? Possibly, but I mean, everybody I've ever known, you know, they don't really split a package of ramen. Maybe in like the last 20 years, I've seen people doing it for their kids, you know? And I don't know if that's just like something we have to do out of poverty, or if they really, you know, more conscious about nutrition. We're like, hey, this is a lot of fucking sodium. Maybe we shouldn't give it all to one kid. We have 2 servings of 1,010 milligrams, and that comes out to 42% of your daily intake of sodium times 2, which is 84. At least that's how it's put on here. And sodium, they have less than 2,400. So maybe they're fudging it even a little bit further on this sodium thing. Because 2,300 I've seen is like the agreed upon amount that, you know, we should really have like a cap on. So I think that's about it. Neoguri, extremely popular ramen, great packaging, about as terrible as sodium as you would expect. Let's go cook it up. I'll see you back here in just a minute. Bye-bye. To the pot! Okay, and we are back, and I have the sinking feeling like I forgot something in the kitchen. So I may be getting up to go get that here in a second, but we have the finished product. Let's go ahead and give you guys a peek at that. Because this company, somehow, even though this thing comes in this tiny little package, there's still some presentation here. And I can really appreciate that, even though I'm just pouring it out of a bowl. Okay. So, as I'm cooking it, I am once again reminded that the biggest detractor and or selling point to this soup is going to be the nori, the seaweed, everybody. It has you cook the noodles and the seasoning with the vegetable packet right when the water starts to boil. So a lot of other ramens will have you add the soup base and stuff after everything's done boiling, because I guess they must be like a little bit heat sensitive. So this one, the noodles cook in the broth. I would hope that would impart some flavor on everything. These are quote-unquote the udon style noodles. I don't really know if these are different than the other Nongshim noodles. It's advertised that they're different, but I kind of remember them just all being the same. But I can tell you about the rest of the vegetables and stuff. The nori is a very powerful smell and or flavor. So that's going to be like the thing that really either pleases or upsets people about this soup. And how am I on nori? I don't know. I don't know if I'm really the kind of guy to go to for like nori appreciation. I kind of feel like I do about certain foods, you know, like nuts. I love tree nuts. I love all kinds of nuts, but The second people start invading, like, the territory of other foods with nuts, I start to get a little upset. It happened when I was a kid, and it started to just get into, like, my brown bread. You know, it's like, oh, I here's some bread, here's some wheat bread, and it's like, you take a bite, and it's like, what the fuck? It's got goddamn, you know, sunflower seeds, and, like, little bits of fucking walnut or something in there, and it's like, this sucks, I hate it. So now, it's like, most of the time, like, I'm cool with peanuts and Snickers, but most of the other nuts I'm really not hype with. I have to be sold on it, at least. And here, nori is kind of something that I'm really lukewarm on, but it really does, like, permeate the whole experience. No little bits of fish cake, as I was kind of pining on earlier. It would be nice if they were in there, especially considering we have this, like, seafood theme, but like I said, you gotta make ends meet where you can, right? So, what else can we say about this one? I am assuming that the price on this one is like $129 to $139. You know, this is like right around where the Shin Ramyun red would be in terms of like everything. Like, same place on the shelf, like same, just like categorization, everything about this one. It should be like almost identical pricing. And I can't remember if that's like a 6 or a 5 or what, but we got the pricing. We got the pricing list now, so we don't have to worry too much about that. All right, enough lollygagging. Let's get up in here. So I am highly suspect that these are the Nongshim noodles, and I think I might like these around a 7. It's a bold claim. All right, is this insinuating that all of their noodles are now udon style? Because I've had udon before. Motherfuckers are like that, you know? Like great big old, highly textured, big noodles that come in a soup base that more oftentimes than not is a little bit subtle. You know, maybe a little too subtle for my liking. Because udon, when I've had it, it has been a little bland. So, to say that this is an udon-style noodle, it's like, no, this is way closer to their other style of noodle. If they're claiming that they're all udon-style noodles, it's like, fine. I guess that these are a thicker noodle than most of any of the other kinds you can buy in a packet. But I am a confuzzled. I am a confused boy over all of these things. Does the noodle, like, say it's any different than the Shin Ramyun red or black? I really don't think so. But perhaps there is some small difference in them. I'm just not really detecting them with my mouth. Still loving those noodles, though. Giving them a 7. Now, as far as the broth goes, the way that it is served, there is going to be the nori throughout pretty much all of it. Other than that, you have the red kind of Korean soup base. I think it's the Korean red pepper flake thing. I have an image of it. But that is a predominant part of the flavors here. And then almost everything else is seafoody, seaweedy. Not so seafoody, more seaweedy. If I had, you know, other elements of seafood in here to remind me of it, I might be a little bit more sold. Can I also say that the mushroom, the little bits of shiitake mushroom aren't in here anymore? Is that a thing that was in here at one point and now it isn't? Because if it is, I'm sad. That makes me sad. Let's try a sip of the broth by itself. So I gotta go back to my previous statement. It's like for people who like seafood or like nori, specifically nori, this is going to appeal to them. But to everybody else, oh boy, it's tank cleaning day down at the aquarium. It really does have this like really powerfully green, seaweedy kind of flavor, like all the way through the broth. And it's not upsetting me, but at the same time, I'm not thrilled. And every time I got this soup, you know, I never really got to the point where I was like, you know, super happy about having it. Once I realized what I had done. Because like I said, I bought this one several times, on my quest to discover new ramens. And sometimes, you know, the packaging was different. It wouldn't have English on it at all. And sometimes it would. And sometimes their packaging just changes. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what this is again. Got it several times because of that. And ever since then, I specifically know which one this is. And it is the broth that gives this one its kind of, you know, infamy, if you will. So I am giving the broth on this one a 5. And it could go higher if you are into these kind of flavors, but I, for one, am not. It still is a rather pleasant soup base, and I'm still going to enjoy the rest of my tofu inside of it. Yep, would rather be having a different ramen. Always would rather have a different ramen than this one. Even sometimes if it's crappier. Like, we are giving this one extra marks because it is a high-quality soup. But I could personally go for something that's a little cheaper and a little, like, less developed flavors and, you know, enjoy myself more. As far as bonus points go, this one is going to get 1 extra bonus point for the packet of veggies. I always give it a bonus point for the packet of veggies. This time it had a bunch of seaweed in it. And it sort of ruins the rest of the soup for me, but it's still effort, it's still credit where credit's due. So you should be seeing all of my deliberations up on the screen right now. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Ramen Abyss, and I gotta go get running some errands for the day, everybody, before it gets out of control. And, we'll see you when I get back from Thanksgiving, and retroactively, whenever this video comes out. Bye-bye! Thanks for watching, everybody, and an even bigger thanks goes out to the people still supporting me on Patreon. You guys are amazing, and I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for continuing your support. It really motivates me to keep me going. Also, remember to catch me on Twitch every day except Tuesdays and Saturdays, 5 to 10 p.m. I play loads of Binding of Isaac and Jackbox and other things too. Hope to see you there. Fudge facts.